Good afternoon, my friends, and thank you for coming to join me for a shave. Today's shave is brought to us by Hombres Premium Shave Soap. This is from Barber Dave's shop. It's made by CBL, and it just so happens is exactly the right size that it fits in a Clubman container. So it fits, I mean, it rattles a little bit, but it's perfect, fits perfect. I've did a Nurse Dave thing, and I just scraped out some, keeping it dry, and just lathered it in the bowl. It makes a pretty good lather. I don't know if I don't have it dialed in yet. This is the first time I've used it, but it's pretty good. I've been tardy of late, or missing. Had an illness. I hope that's behind me. Doctor said it's going to take a little while for me to come back to full strength, so I am still, well, I'm not quarantined. Let's just say that I'm homebound for a little while. Mama doesn't like me driving by myself. It got into my lungs, and I don't get as much of the air as I should. But I got out of the hospital before there was a big influx. So I call that a good thing. Today we're lathering with my gray dog. This is chestnut, very vintage chestnut, and we'll be using a Type M Schick injector with a blade of undetermined age. Got about 5 days growth on. This stuff is pretty slick. It smells nice too. I'm not sure if it's quite as slick as Orion. I like Orion a lot. I bought this at the same time, and I haven't used it yet. Sorry I missed out on our game night last night, but we had some power outages, and because I spend a good part of the day on oxygen, well, not a good part of the day, that's a lie, about half the day on supplemental oxygen, I spent an entire night, because we had a power outage with no CPAP and no oxygen. So I was just wore out by the time you guys had been talking. I probably would have been with you for about 15 minutes before I went to bed. So I just stayed in front of the TV and took care of some TV watching. Probably going to be like this for a little while. Take a little while to get my strength back. But I feel a hell of a lot better than I did a couple weeks ago. I was actually quite a little frightened for my not really frightened. What's the word for it? The doctor got my test results back, and she said she didn't like something and told me to go straight to the emergency room. And when I arrived there, people with full PPE, came, put me in a chair, and drove me away. I didn't even get a chance to say goodbye to my wife. And that was a little bit distressing. That's a good word. But I'm home now, so that's a lot more better than the alternative. First couple nights I had a room to myself. Unfortunately, it was in the cardiac care unit, because that's where they put me. And their food is terrible. It needs salt. So my nurse, who was a wonderful woman, said when the time comes to order your meal, get the beef and vegetables soup, and then ask for saltine crackers with salt on them. And she's a genius. That totally worked. That woman was a ninja too. She would come in generally she was evening shift, but she'd be in towards the end of her shift in the morning when I was kind of semi with it, and she'd bring me up to date on what they were doing to me. And I don't really know who to believe. One doctor says, well, you've got a world championship bronchitis. The other guy said you got pneumonia. Either way, I was sick. But she would sneak in, and just as a large woman, I'll tell you, she was big, but she could sneak in and out of there, give me my medication. I'll call it secondhand plasma. Somebody who's had the COVIDs before then would have donated their blood, and then they'd separate all out the plasma, and then so I got several doses of that and some other medicines, I guess, specifically designed for the illness I had. So after a few days, I was able to breathe a little better, and I was good, a little bit more freedom. I couldn't get too far away from the bed because there was a drip all the time on his hand here. But eventually I snuck free from that. When they weren't dripping it, it was disconnected, so I could go to the bathroom if I wanted to. There's Lemon. And they declared me clear enough to go home, as long as I took oxygen with me. The problem being that I guess I wasn't breathing deep enough, or I'm not sure what the deal was, but they wanted me to have a oxygen thing I'm supposed to spend a certain amount of time with. We're using the Hombres aftershave apothecary tonic today. This is just as good as the Orion. I suspect it's similar in its formulation. Let it soak in a little bit. It doesn't take but a drop or two. And then, because it's been a while, pow, 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 pow. We'll do some 2-in-1. See, because I see I'm only at 10 minutes and 26 seconds. So I can pump up my post shave time. Oh. And really enjoy this shave. We're using Penhaligon's English Fern talc today, because that's what's in the bowl. If I can get the bowl open. So, aside from that, we are at least home, and that is a big part of the cure. They were starting to move in doubles. The room I was in, or the first room I was telling you, I was in the cardiac care unit, and they moved me to an older part of the hospital which had enormous rooms. The room I was in, I could probably have roller skated in. I wasn't there one night when they moved another bed in, and they were getting ready to move somebody else in with me as a roommate, but I was good enough to move out because they wanted to make room for more patients. We were having a pretty good wave, I guess. Look how big that thing is puffed out. This is a fine brush, and I treasure it always. Thank you, Great Lather, for introducing me to this. Thanks, Dave. You guys will never know how precious the communication time in the hospital was when you can't get out and you can't have any visitors. So if you know anybody else who's in the hospital in isolation, give them a call, text them. It's good for them. I'm Major Rich. You'll find me on the Shaving Cadre. I'm a CBL fanboy. And if you like what you're seeing, like and subscribe. Liking is good. It brings me up and it helps my stats. I hope to see you guys soon. And, well, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.